Here we've got a map and some other items relating to a British sailor who served ashore in Normandy. This is part of a series of videos that we're doing for Heritage Open Days, going behind the scenes to look at some objects that aren't on display at the D-Day story. So this map and this other items belong to Signalman Reginald Smith, who served the Royal Navy in Normandy, and he was part of Naval Party 1570. So Naval Party was essentially a often smallish group of sailors formed for some special purpose and who often served ashore. In his case, they were part of controlling the landings in the area of Juno Beach. The map here shows Gold and Juno Beach, or part of both of those beaches, and it's a bit unusual because this is what's known as a bogus map. If you look closely, you'll see that all of the place names are clearly the wrong place names. The whole map is called Calgary, for example. Obviously Calgary's in Canada, not in Normandy. And there's other names like, for example, Cape Town, as marked on the map, is actually Corsearle, one of the towns on the coast, or villages on the coast in the Juno Beach area. And the reason these bogus maps were made was so that the troops could be shown them a few days before going to Normandy, and they could get familiar with the terrain, with what it would look like where they were going, but they wouldn't know the place names for where they were going. So it would help preserve the secret of exactly where the landings were going to take place. And on this particular map, Smith's officer has written in the real place names, presumably after D-Day had happened, so after the secret of where D-Day was going to happen had come out to some extent. He'd written the real place names in pencil on the map. And how Reginald Smith came by this particular map was while his unit was on a ship, on the Liberty ship Samos, crossing the English Channel. Their ship was hit by enemy fire, and his officer, Lieutenant Mackay, was wounded and couldn't land in Normandy. So he handed this map and some other maps over to Reginald Smith, I think essentially saying, here you go, carry on, you've got to use these now. And so then Smith used this map when he landed in Normandy. Also, another item that he picked up in Normandy was this propaganda leaflet. So this is a leaflet dropped by the Germans over the Allied troops in Normandy, and it's trying to make them question what they were doing there, try and weaken their morale. Whether it actually had any effect is open to question, but it says on the front of it, an invasion why, and it's trying to suggest that actually all that's going to happen is that the Soviet Union is going to win, and it's essentially trying to persuade the British soldiers in Normandy, or the Allied soldiers, that they shouldn't be fighting there. There's also a photograph of him here with one of his mates. He's the man on the right. After serving in Normandy, Smith went on to serve in Germany towards the end, not just after the end of the Second World War. Do visit our website, thedddaystory.com, for more about visiting the museum and about the various events that we run.